W Ayer Son. W Ayer Son was a Philadelphia advertising agency founded in 1869. It called itself the oldest advertising agency in the United States. Named by Francis Ayer after his father W. Ayer, it ventured into advertising in 1884. It created a number of memorable slogans for firms such as De Beers, AT&T and the U.S. Army. The company started to decline in the 1960s and, after a series of mergers, closed in 2002 with its assets sold to the Publicis Group. Early history. W Ayer Son was founded in Philadelphia in 1869 by 21-year-old Francis Ayer, who named the agency after his father, N. W. Ayer. W Ayer Son started its business by representing religious weekly newspapers. By 1877, N. W Ayer Son had become successful enough to obtain what remained of another agency, the Volney Palmer Agency. In 1884, Ayer expanded into the advertising business. Ayer styled itself the oldest advertising firm in the US in 1892. Artists and writers began working in groups known as creative teams. Eventually Ayer became responsible for some of the most recognized slogans in advertising history. Gerald M. Lauck was president of Ayer in the 1930s. Notable slogans. De Beers. W Ayer Son created one of the most recognized slogans of the 20th century, "A diamond is forever." Harry Oppenheimer of De Beers and Ayer president Gerald M. Lauck discussed a marketing campaign in 1938 that would change the falling price of diamonds at the time. The idea of engagement rings decorated with diamonds wasn't very popular in Europe, but interest in diamonds was high in the US. Because of this, Oppenheimer decided to promote the idea in the US and told Lauck that, if Ayer's plan was successful, De Beers would have Ayer become the exclusive agency for its American interests. Ayer was motivated to propose that its campaign should move the American spending demographic towards larger and more expensive diamonds. To successfully achieve its goal, Ayer suggested a reinforcement of the relationship of diamonds with love and romance. This proved successful, as both men and women were caught in the relationship of diamonds being a gift of love. The slogan created for De Beers remained memorable for many years. AT&T. In 1906, Ayer was commissioned by the Mutual Life Insurance Company of New York to create an advertising campaign for AT&T Corp. Ayer's successful campaign began with the AT&T ad 20 million voices, appearing in June, with 4 more appearing in the following months. Due to the campaign's success, AT&T made Ayer its main advertising agency. This relationship continued until the 1970s and became one of the oldest advertising relationships in America. Ayer created the slogan "Reach Out and Touch Someone," one of AT&T's most successful ads, coined in 1979 by Tony Galli and Stanley Lomas. Music was composed by David Lucas. Galli's original phrasing was, "To communicate is the beginning of understanding. Reach out and touch someone." Decline. In the late 1960s, Ayer faced challenges from industry changes as smaller agencies began creating ads appealing to targeted groups of consumers. This method focused agency attention on single demographics and could be performed faster by smaller agencies rather than traditional larger agencies. Ayer's standing dropped to 10th place among major agencies in one report. In 1982, it called itself the 14th largest advertising agency in the US. In 1986, Ayer received positive feedback for its US Army recruiting slogan, "Be all that you can be." This campaign benefited the Army's recruitment goals greatly, and also faced negative responses toward the Vietnam War and low enlistment. In a well-published scandal, charges were filed against the Ayer employee responsible for the Army collaboration, and Ayer was consequently suspended from making bids with any branches of government. The Army account loss struck Ayer hard. Ayer strengthened its business by obtaining an account with the Burger King Corporation but lost the account after 18 months. Ayer also desperately tried to keep the AT&T Corp. account, but AT&T parted ways around the same time despite its long history with Ayer. Merger. Due to the Army scandal, Ayer began to struggle, and its importance gradually faded. In 1996 Ayer became part of McManus Group after merging with Darcy Macias Benton and Bowles. 3 years later, Ayer CEO Mary Lou Quinlan stepped down to form a new unit within McManus and was replaced by Mary Beth Casey. Under McManus, Ayer was merged with Leo Group and Dentsu to form Com3. In 2002, Com3 retired the Ayer name and merged it into the thriving Kaplan-Darla Group, where Ayer's stalwart client, Continental Airlines, took flight again. Com3 chairman and CEO Roger Hoped said, "Retiring the venerable NW Ayer name wasn't easy. It is more about the Kaplan name. We're in a situation where we have an excellent agency in Kaplan-Darla, and at the end of the day that's the right thing to do." Ayer remained one of the most recognized names in advertising. Other agencies approximately as old as Ayer are overshadowed by Ayer's legacy. Ayer's assets were bought by the Publicis Group in Paris, which closed down the Ayer offices in 2002. In 2005, the NW Ayer Philadelphia building was purchased and has been made into the Ayer, a luxury condominium.